So I would always advise, if you're starting a business, or indeed if you are a current business, go for a registered trademark to secure the security in your name, because again, it can be quite a costly mistake later on down the line. So yeah.
But with a domain name,
with a domain name,
I mean, for example, again, I should say, many years ago, this is going back a long time now. I sort of twigged. I thought, oh, well, you know, the .coms and .co.uk. So I thought, I'm going to buy loads and loads.
Cyber squatting.
I did. This is going back a long time now. This is going back to probably more than 15 years, I guess. And I actually registered the Royal Ancient Golf Club of St Andrews and the RNA, and I got them. And I actually held them. And I actually naively thought, well, great, I've got them. I've got the .com, and I actually advertised them in Golf World to sell them. And I had a letter from the RNA saying Zah, but I'm not sure if they'd actually registered the trademark.
But what they've got on their side is the unregistered rights with regards to the substantial reputation and the goodwill in that name. So they could have pursued you on that avenue with regards to enforcing their unregistered trademark rights.
So is that unregistered trademark?
That's right, because the benefit they've got is their substantial reputation. So
if you register anybody's domain name, even if they haven't got it registered, they could still prove rights over it.
That's right. It'll be very difficult for them to do it. And that's where really registered trademark rights are a great tool for the small business owner, because it's only really a benefit to the big business to have an unregistered trademark, because they know that the reputation behind them is enough to actually carry it through. Whereas for the small business owner, if somebody else registers the domain name, you haven't really got much of a leg to stand on, because there is no reputation there. But if you've got a registered trademark right, that's great, because you can enforce it for trademark.
Because someone registered 21st Century Fox.
Yeah, and I bet they would have got booted off very, very quickly due to their reputation. It's the same with, there was a case involving BT and 1 in a million. That was a very famous case in regards to cyber squatting. And again, there was a company that brought up a load of the BT domain names. Same with Marks and Spencer's as well. Marks and Spencer's have had serious problems with different domain names being bought. But again, big, reputable company. So it's very obvious that they're doing it for a financial gain. So what happens in that respect is, rather than charging a good couple of grand for a domain name that originally cost £6, they have to sell it back to, for example, Marks and Spencer's for the original price paid, £6.
But I think the point is, for small businesses,
a lot of the registrars won't let you register those names anymore. Because they don't want the aggro.
That's exactly right.
But I think the point for small businesses, you know, and I won't mention the name on the video, but Rand knows I'm talking about, they often come up with this wonderful name, create a new brand or sub-brand, go, you know, headlong into getting all the literature and the collateral and what have you, and then, you know, a couple of years down the track, somebody comes knocking on their door and saying, hang on a minute, you've got my trademark. I think, you know, it's particularly relevant for the small businesses to get the trademark for the small amount it costs to do
Absolutely.
it. To me, it's bonkers for anybody not to have their own trademark registered.
Yeah, it saves a headache later on down the line. Absolutely.
So to register, like my company's Freedom Choice Limited, to actually register that as a trademark, what sort of what are you sort of talking?
In terms of costs, so the application fee to register the name is firstly £170. There's no VAT to pay on that, it's VAT exempt. If you, depending on how many categories you need, basically with a trademark you have to choose what categories it's going to fit into. There's 45 different categories. So depending on what your services are, so for example catering services, you would choose the category that's relevant to catering services, for example. So you may well need just one category, so there'll be no additional fee to pay. But let's say, for example, you need 2 categories, it will cost you an extra £50 to add on top of that. So that's the application fee, no VAT on that. But then obviously if you went through somebody like us, for example, or a trademark attorney or another lawyer, you would pay the professional fees on top of that. I'm not going to tout the business for obviously the purpose of the video, but you can get very competitive rates, definitely, and it doesn't need to cost you a fortune.
But if you list one category, you're still covered across all of them, are you?
No, not all of them, and I'll give you an example. If you look at, you've got Apple Consumer Electronics, but then you've got Apple Windows and Conservatories. They're in non-competing marketplaces. So the moment there's overlap and it's within a competing marketplace, then yes, you've got the exclusivity. But let's say, for example, Freedom Choice was manufacturing light bulbs, for example, but what you're doing is catering services. very unlikely that the two businesses are going to be confused by their customers. Your customers aren't going to confuse you for the light bulb manufacturer.
So as long as their logo is not similar to mine,
yeah.
the logo is covered across all of them, I
yeah,
assume.
that's right. So yeah.
That's right.
We could now just cut to the commercial break if you want to do something to camera.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Yeah,
Ryan.
my
Fantastic.
pleasure. Thank you very much.